G'day YouTube mob. I heard these audios today and I thought they were really good. They're exposing what the New World Order plans to do with the new financial system that they're going to bring in after they collapse the old one, and with the current financial crisis, the Mid-East wars, the earth changes everywhere, you know, when they all merge, and the New World Order is going to rise like a phoenix rising from the ashes and bring this satanic system in. And so I thought I'd expose them a bit more. And 18 months ago I had a nightmare, or it was a visitation, and a voice told me to take me videos off YouTube if you value your life, and I never done that. I couldn't do it. I'm not my own, I'm his. Greater is he in me than he is in the world. So here's a little bit more exposure of some stuff that you'll need to know in the very near future. So yeah.
Damon Vickers is on the telephone. Damon has been a financial investor and advisor for 25 years. He comes from a family with a long history of involvement in the markets. In fact, he's a third-generation investor and trader. His father was a floor trader for Goldman Sachs. His grandfather worked for Kidder Peabody. And so I'm glad to have Damon back on the program. Damon, welcome back to True News.
Very good. You missed my great-grandfather ran the Rockefeller Foundation.
I'm sorry, I didn't miss it. Your great-grandfather ran the Rockefeller Foundation?
That's correct. And the Carnegie Endowment, and also Yale University for many decades.
Damon, what will this new financial order, how will it, are we looking at an actual physical currency? Is it a digital currency? Are we talking about one global currency or a basket of currencies?
You're probably something more along the can of a global currency, a replacement currency for all currencies, a new an agreement on what that will be. No, likely, I don't think paper at all. It's unlikely it will be paper.
It'll be
more unlikely electronic. Yeah.
Electronic digital money. So, so we're going to a cashless world system.
Yes.
Okay. And what will be some of the ways that technology will be used for people to make transactions?
People will likely have possession of some type of I would say a chip that will, or a global code that allows them to transact in a global society and a global system, and gives them the freedom to interact with the world globally. And there will likely be some type of a chip, semiconductor, RFID type device, I would imagine.
And are you talking about a chip that is in a card or in the person?
It may be both. We already have it in the card, which is in the form of credit cards. The natural progression of things would be for that chip to be somehow would be likely to be somehow interfaced with a bio system. Technology, the long-term trend for technology is increasingly interactive with touch and with human activity. So this is why you see touch screens. Why you touch a screen, that's human touch and physical touch and looking and pointing at images. So the more we can make technology more aligned with just normal human behavior, whether it's waving your hand over something or maybe it's shaking somebody's hand, this is kind of a natural progression of things.
What about people who say, I can't go there, I'm going to opt out, I just can't put a microchip in me, I just want to use money?
That has to be okay. Well, that money won't, then they'll have to have a card, I would imagine.
But I mean, it could go to that point where.
Well, that would be a mistake. That would be a very, very, very bad mistake.
I come from a very, very old bloodline in the Illuminati. My family can trace their ancestry in the Illuminati back to 1789. So when I was initiated as a Master Witch, at that point I was a seventh generation witch. I'm convinced that Barack Obama is a puppet. I don't think he's smart enough to be in the Illuminati, but I think he's one of their puppets because he's following their criteria to the letter, and no one could guess at that. You would have to be some sort of puppet, or you'd have to be in the Illuminati to have known that. Mm-hmm. And when you consider right now, and let's think about this, he's spending us into bankruptcy.
True.
Which is, among other things, what the plans of the Illuminati will eventually forecast, because they've got to set everything up to where they cause a global economic crash at once. So everyone will be forced to take the debits, the old debit system, mm-hmm. instead of getting cash, which we don't get anymore anyways, we get paper. Right. You would get debit points on a bioelectrical implant chip, and that implant chip is already marked right now to be put into everyone's right hand or forehead. And if they don't believe this is a possibility, check the laws in England right now, because Parliament, about 4 or 5 months ago, passed a law by sometime, I think it's the beginning of next year. All newborn babies are required by law to have this bioelectrical implant chip now.
Really?
Yes. The point of the matter is, even gold or silver will not be the standard currency. Remember, it's going to be the old debit points, mm-hmm. and those points basically are going to be put on a bioelectrical implant chip mm-hmm. that everyone will have. Mm-hmm. Well, let's put it to this way. Those people during the tribulation period will mm-hmm. definitely have. Yeah. And this is of critical importance, mm-hmm. because if you can control what a person buys or sells, you've got them by the throat. And for those people who think, well, you know, we can live up in the mountain, grow up our own food and cattle and all this, let me ask a very serious question here. Let's say while you're farming or something, one of your children gets a serious injury. I mean, something that's life-threatening. Mm-hmm. You run to the hospital, you have him in your arms, he's bleeding and all this. Do you really think if you don't have that biological implant chip, they're going to treat that child?
Well, just tell him he's an illegal immigrant and they won't even check.
No. Trust me, at that point, unless he has the bioelectrical implant chip to have been registered with, mm-hmm. they're not going to treat him.
I'll tell you what.
Now, how many parents at that point, realizing their child could die right there in front of them, would refuse the bioelectrical implant chip at mm-hmm. that point?
Yeah, I can see your point there. Now, you know, when it comes to, say, the rioters in London, you talk about them maybe being the first to authorize the chip implants. Kind of reminds me of a movie, Mission Impossible 3, I think it was, that one of the Mission Impossible agents had that little chip, it looked like an RFID chip, implanted in the brain, and then they pushed a button and exploded. I'm wondering if they couldn't do that with the rioters. You know, they're thinking they're going to get one of these debit chips, but instead it's going to be like a mini nuke, and just put it into the rioters or your other Muslim trouble agitators, and then boom, just push the button on them.
Well, they could even do. They don't even have to go to that extreme. They could just put, you know, a poison in it, mm-hmm. and it'd be a lot easier to facilitate at that point.
I just got to add that the technology in the video is pretty old now. They've got invisible ink, RFID tattoos. It can be scanned through clothes, through your hair from 4 feet away, and they can actually digitize feelings as well, so they'll make everybody into just happy little campers.